Chapter 32 Bidash, 9th of March, present day. A mere few seconds to come up with a solution and save the world before I die for good. No pressure. Peace. Peace comes pouring out of the rag still sodden with loose excretions, its power flooding outwards. Peace driving through my system, deleting my wrongdoings, forgiving all my trespasses. Terrible, horrible, unwanted peace. My pulse jackhammers, and each thump that bangs in my chest, in my ears, sends spray gushing out my throat. How much time left? No time to do the maths. In a moment, I'm going to die, my soul cleansed, and that's it, perfect again. Game over. Ben turns his back on me, heading over to fuss with the skull and Isaac. He's dismissed me, a dead man already, now that he's had his revenge or given his forgiveness or whatever exactly the fuck all that was in terms of him unburdening himself. I'm forgotten about. He's already on to the next stage of his plan to demolish reality just so he can die. Time's slipping by too fast. I scrunch my face up in despair and agony, and the veil moves. It's still coated in the slime that comes as an unwanted extra on everything Lucar Coil touches, means it's slippery. One chance. I start gurning, pulling stupid faces, twisting and contorting my face muscles beneath the iron cage between its bars, trying to make them into a conveyor belt to carry the vernacle away. It slides clear of my face, aided by the blood liberally coating my neck, catching on the spray. My vision's greying, tunneling in, the ceiling narrowing from a razor spots to a single one, and it's like that damnable light they're always talking about, there to guide the soul away from this world. Tongue still spiked, can't speak, can't scream blasphemy. Is one chance, 1 second left, good god damn it, but the official doctrine better be right about sin. Thought, word and deed. As even that one light fades, I'm screaming in my head the most horrible, abusive things against every single religious icon. Particular mention goes to bloody Saint Veronica for her fucking veil. No idea if it's enough. My soul's not been this clean for centuries. No idea if it's going to be enough. We're about to find out. Life fades to black. I wake up where endless, colourless, washed-out sands stretch incomprehensible distances, a nothingness so heavy it could crush the most strong-willed like leaves underfoot. Next to where I'm standing, though my presence makes no impression on the sandy flooring, are words from so very long ago, still fresh as ever. Not yet. I came here once before, lifetimes back, on that first death, caught in the Grail's demise, disrupting whatever fuckery Nikitas was trying to pull off to get this scratchy sand message delivered to me. For a moment, I wonder if some desert wind is going to whip up and obliterate the "not" written in the grains. Is this it? Even now, 800 years after this first happened, centuries of me wondering exactly what or who gave me this little heads up, whether they are the same force that gifted or cursed me with my reincarnation. I've still got no idea where I am or why I ended up here after dying from a razor's embrace by Almeric's hand. Now here I am, my throat slit once more, back in this unsettling place outside of the lands of the living. Is it purgatory? Or the nothingness I was promised for breaking my consolamentum? Maybe the sand granules underfoot are the particles of sinners' souls, and after my brief reprieve, I'm going to break apart and add to the endless dunes. And just as I'm passing through despair into grief-filled acceptance over failing Aisha, Isaac, Jacob, the whole damned world, more words appear. Next to those first ones, exactly as the first did all those centuries ago, lines engraving into the endless grey, scribbled, scratchy, stick carvings that say, "Open the door." My eyes fly open. I'm back in a new body, and I clamp down on a desperate, natural desire to heave a breath into my revived lungs. There's hope in my heart, even as the eyes of this body start to focus. And if I'm where I hope I am, if that message meant what I think it means, any noise will betray me. Take away this last desperate chance. As my vision returns, the whiteout reassembling itself into lights, a ceiling, and walls, the brightness of the pool of blood next to me is a shocking slash of colour through it. It's a slap to the senses. Good. I need them fully operational. I still need to find a way out of here because I'm back. Back in Ben's laboratory, in the dead body wall hung next to where I just died, judging by the empty table and the widespread blood pool. I remain strapped in, covered in runes, but with my mouth free of that bastard contraption he used to secure my waggling tongue. Ben still has his back turned, uninterested in my demise and, thankfully, equally ignorant of my reincarnation. Remembering the sand-engraved message, my eyes shoot to the door and I risk looking at it, hoping the locking spells have crumbled. It's not a shock to find that isn't the case. The arsehole wove them well. Shit. Consider my options. The glyphs are keeping me effectively restrained, incapable of any action, physical or magical. I wait until I'm sure Ben's attention is entirely elsewhere, watching as he imbues his power into another glyph on the skull. It's even more radiant, and it looks ready for whatever fucked up working he's going to use to lock away Isaac and Nithael for good. I need to move now. Looking down, I trace the sigil's paths, searching hopelessly for an exploitable weakness, even though I know their potency surpasses my best psychic force. As I follow the flowing, glowing calligraphy down my arms and to my hands, my eyes widen. A tiny crossbar etched into the lettering blinks out, rendering one word meaningless. With a mental effort, agency returns to the middle finger of my right hand. I've no idea what external force has intervened, God, angel, demon, but apparently they've got a juvenile sense of humour as well as a penchant for writing in sand, unless I've missed my guess. Whoever they are, I like them even more for that. Focusing my energies through the extended digit, I silently unpick the door enchantment, my eyes locked on Ben and his preparations. He's so near to completion. He lifts the skull off the table with Isaac, taking it over to the pedestal where Jacob's prison sits. He removed the other skull at some point, and it now sits on the floor next to where it was. Clearly, he's going to use Nanael's magic to seal the circle and power the ritual. Seating the empty skull of Torquemada on the woven bone display stand, he steps backward and kneels, powering up a circle around them. Fuck. Unless I've missed my guess, all he has to do now is wheel Isaac over that surrounding line and bam, Isaac and Nithael will be locked up in there for eternity. Rivulets of sweat run down my cheeks by the time I approach the final intricate knot forming the ceiling glyph. It's all I can do not to keep scanning over to Ben to see how close he is to making it back to the table holding Isaac. The stomping clonk of his cane taps across the room, imitated by my heart beating so hard in my chest, I'm surprised it's not cracking my ribcage. I don't know if I can do this. Not in time. Got to concentrate and pick, pull, unravel the fucking spell, Paul. I don't know how. I keep my sigh of relief inaudible instead of screaming in delight when I finally unravel his working without raising his attention. I offer a desperate plea for a last turn of luck to whoever is helping me. Push the last of my reserves out of my finger and fling the door wide open. On the other side stands a flaming, avenging angel, an Ifrit of righteous vengeance. A cloud of dust, composed of her own particles, billows around her, looking like a swarm of furious flies, the crackling of her flesh as it releases flakes to join the dancing swirl, forming their enraged buzz. She pushes against the air with boned hands, flesh dissolving under the combination of heat and pressure, and forces the restraining circle, still replete with don't look here working, imprisoning her inside the fiery tornado to move via her sheer weight of uncontainable will. Aisha drives her smouldering atomizing form forward one step at a time, her path down the corridor marked by charred footprints. Ben turns agog at the sight of this warrior ablaze who refuses to accept his imposed limitations. He stumbles over his words, and now it is his turn to blink, unbelieving at the sight of what confronts him. Greyed flesh pales further as he casts his talent at her in a mixture of glottal syllables and intricate gestures, only for the deadly casting to be undone on contact with his own constructed barrier. What's keeping her trapped inside with the fire is also keeping out all destructive magic. He looks wildly around, no doubt searching for Almeric's skull to grab it, to use its power to defend himself against her, except he's forgotten in his panic that it's powering the ritual and is sealed inside the circle. The old wizard fumbles in a pocket, pulls out a stoppered vial, pops the top off. Come a step closer, and it'll be the last one you ever take. His breaths are wheezes, words obscured by the constriction terror places on his chest. This is the antidote to your cursed Al-Hayed woman. My heart plummets, sweat pouring down the back of my neck as I start trying to angle my finger around to point at him, at the vial, to do something. The fucking antidote, the one he threatened to use on her on the phone, the one I warned her about. Aisha doesn't even slow down. It's not easy to talk when your vocal cords are crackling, snapping like worn guitar strings every few seconds, but she pushes the words out. Fine, take you with me. Ben curses, backing up further, the glass beaker slipping from his finger as he lets it drop, discarded, useless, and I can suddenly breathe again. It was a bluff. All another fucking bluff. And Aisha called it. She continues her ineffable, defiant march towards him. He dispels the binding he surrounded her with, the one sealing her inside with the fire but keeping his magic out, trying to call up his talent to hit her with another working, but she's too close. Her hands shoot out and form a red-hot collar around his throat. He coughs and gags, the acrid odour of her long, charring flesh mixing with the tantalisingly fresh, roasting smell of his own. She holds him, silent and pleading, then shoves him backwards into the sigil circle, the working he was creating to hold Isaac and Nithael. As the old, mad wizard stumbles into it, his arms flailing as she releases him, the markings flare in time with the eye sockets of the skull containing Jacob and Nanael. The room lights with the eerie beauty of angelic otherness, and I garble out my fear and awe, unable and unwilling to tear myself away from watching his fate. All that radiance pulls inwards, condensing into the frame of a man I once called my brother. Ben glows with a brilliance I would have once thought matched his soul. Now, as strong as my previous despair, it builds and brightens until unbearably pure, mind-shatteringly perfect, and then it is gone, imploding back into nothingness. The light shoots back into the previously empty skull, taking Ben with it.